Good morning. Good morning and welcome. Welcome to the tradingsyndicate.org. I'm JJ, and we're welcoming you to our Wednesday, the 9th RT8 session. Hey, Raj, Oka. Hey, JB. All right, Nap, what's going on? Hey, Gosh, how are you doing? Good to see you. Welcome for the folks joining us on YouTube as well as in the trading room. Hey, Corey, what's going on? So, more balance. We are, jeez. After all the drama we've had in these markets, now we're just kind of chilling out, going back and forth. Here's Monday's high and Monday's low. And that's a poor low. And we have yet to break it. So for the time being, we're just bopping around in Monday's range. Hey, NFT. You got a payout coming from a prop firm? That's good. Hey, Moran. Moran was a rock star this morning. She traded really well this morning. So we have, gosh, overnight inventory is long. It was short for most of the session until just about recently when the point of control moved higher. So we did a little run over yesterday's high and came back in. We're going to watch that area on the open and see if we accept. We might get some further upside. If we don't, we'll reject and come back down, and we'll be targeting the close of yesterday as your first sort of larger target to the downside. Once again, I'm expecting back and forth trading until we get some new order flow. It's actually not been bad after the 4th. It's been tradable. I think people are starting to get back to work and some order flows coming in. You can see the volume still very light. I mean, we haven't cracked 100,000 contracts in Globex. What are we usually at? Where's all my stats people? Where are the stats and the Excel spreadsheet crowd? Where are you guys? What's generally the volume? No rush. It looks like we have singles, but if you collapse the profile, you'll see that area that looks like singles, it's actually it backfilled. So there's no singles. I mean, 96,000 contracts, 97,000 contracts is not a lot coming in. So volume's still light. Volume still light means that this thing is still easily you can still goose this thing pretty easily if you come in with some size. And, when the cat's away, the mice will play. So we have prop speculators and traders taking advantage of it. The point of control was down here at 6271. Now we've moved the point of control from up there to 6286. We're back above yesterday's high. And we have some single prints to the downside from the Monday session. That's a little chunk of supply. I want to see, I'm very curious if we can get up and get up over 93. That's if we open on a gap. So if we open outside of yesterday's high, we're going to open on a gap and that will indicate change. Right? Change meaning that the low prices from the last 2 days, you could consider that sale is over. Let's see. I'm looking for back and forth trading. Until we take out Monday's high, I think we should just trade the edges. Oh, you still try to get your first payout. Okay, we thought you were close. And a lot of people, they have a hard time with that concept, right? Getting payouts from firms and things like that. But what you want to always remember is, and I'll say this even though we have friends at these prop firms and we refer a lot of people to them. Wall Street is a place where, money goes in and it's having a hard time getting out. You got to really work to get it out. So I applaud all of those people who are getting payouts from these firms because they've got some pretty strict rules. They don't just let you waltz in there and take money out of them. And of course, if you're having trouble with that and you're having trouble being consistent, come spend some time in our room at the Trading Syndicate. We'll help you develop good business habits so you can actually start pulling money out of these firms. So how are we going to trade this? So if the market opened right now at 62.90, we'd open on a small gap and we'd see if that gap fills. Right now, the market's exhibiting that behavior that we're used to seeing, where it's slowly in this creep higher mode, right? It doesn't look very strong. I took a short. I took a little short. What was my short? 80. What was it here? I shorted 88.5, and I covered at 87 and 86 and 3/4 because I just saw the selling running out, so I just put some bids in, got tapped, and then I was done. And what I did was I shorted the backfill, right? I shorted this, right? When you short the backfill and you cover, and then it pops back up again, right? We're still in the front end of this move. These little backfills, what they're doing is they're attracting buyers, right? It's very easy to get trapped short in these markets. Very easy. So don't worry if you do. We have ways to minimize the bloodshed if you're a short seller. And what I mean by that is we have methods of helping you if you are a short seller to understand that, hey, you know what? I'm selling this market short, but the market's not really selling off, so I'll do a hit and run short. And we teach you, once again, how to look for a seller before you short. So you're not just shorting the market blindly, which is what a lot of people do. They actually have no business reason for taking the short, right? So when you see a market look above a level and fail, and it offers underneath that level, then you know that sellers have to compete. When sellers compete, that's your business reason for shorting. When sellers stop competing and start raising price, that's when you cover. Otherwise, why are you shorting a market if there's no seller? You feel me? I mean, what's the point of shorting a market that's going up? But everybody does. Because all these knuckleheads on social media try and make it glamorous. There's no reason shorting a market if there's no seller. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, do you see a seller? No one? Do you see a seller? I see a seller right here. Are they aggressive? Right? Time to caffeinate up, folks. If you're going to be putting money at risk this morning, you should be able to answer these questions. Right? If you find yourself stumbling, don't trade. Right? If you're not on the ball, don't trade. Ask a very simple question. Not a soul is saying anything. Right? Right? Those who answered, you two did. Right? There are sellers at the top of these candles. They are not aggressive. Right? The cost basis for this morning was down here, around 66 to 73. Right? Sorry, 64 to 67. Double it to 74. Double it again to 88. And then 8 times would, I haven't even done the 8 times level. So this is now, you've got people who are, you got a little bit of sells, right? There's a seller there. So say you did short, right? Say I'm short 91. My stop is going to be 92 and a quarter. And I'll put some bids here under 90 to see if I can get filled. So you're short. This is your stop. And then you put some bids to cover in. If the market doesn't offer lower, It's telling you they don't need to sell cheap. Real simple. The only time sellers mark down price is because they have to, right? A lot of times in this market, it will open and run higher before it corrects inventory down. Because anybody trade penny stocks here? Right? Any penny stock trader who actually knows what they're doing is aware of the gap and trap. The gap and trap is when you move a market up in pre-market, and what that does is it trips all those filters that you guys watch, right? All the scanning software picks up the unusual volume, right? Big moves. And that sucks all you guys in, right? And then what we do is we cut supply, and we get you to chase price higher and higher and higher until we kind of wear you out. When we stuff enough product down your throat, you start choking on it, and wham, that's when we lower price, right? The gap and trap. It's the oldest trick in the book, right? Pre-market always takes advantage of the fact that retail is hyper caffeinated, right? And they're just raring to go. You'll go into a lot of these trading rooms and people are like, let's go, yeah. And it's like they're like talking up the offensive line before a football game. You're like, what the hell are you guys doing? What are you getting all hyper for? Right? What's the point of that? Be calm. Make good business decisions. Right? Hey, Christian, how you doing? You know, it's not a football game. Exactly. You know, get them all whipped up, they'll buy anything. Right? We got a little distribution going on here. Right? Well, I mean, why do you think advertising on television tries to tug at your heartstrings or make you angry or play on your fear? Right? It's just a way to get you to open your wallet so we can have a little poke around in there and grab some scratch. So, Joe, you're in our trading room. For those in the trading room, I always post the cost basis in the room in the JJ level section. And I do that around about 1 o'clock in the morning, New York time. Oh, right. Another little stop run higher. Yeah, new shorts coming in and covering. The problem with markets when they're like this is you really don't want to buy the top, and you don't want to short a top that hasn't been put in yet. Very frustrating, right? It's been creeping all night, Raj, right? Remember, Thursday and Friday were not full trading days. So the flush down underneath 62.50 on Monday, you'll notice most of the volume on Monday is above 62.60. It's about 62.60 to 62.88. Right? That's why market profile is really useful, because it can tell you really quickly where they stashed the cookies. This and this liquidated down. But if you look at the profile, look how thick it is here. Most of the volume on Monday is here. Once we get above 62.90, be careful position short until we get back underneath yesterday's high. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? If we get accepted over 62.90, 92, 93, be careful. Right? If we look above yesterday's high and then come back in, that's beautiful for a short seller. That's what you want. But the thing is, look at the, to be a little rude, look at the blue crap. The blue crap is where all the bodies are buried. If price gets above, we're going to go like this. Remember I told you guys yesterday? Look at the low of Monday. Look at the low of Tuesday. If we open and we can't take out the overnight low and yesterday's low, this market is going to rotate up to 63.06. Pods aren't even back at work yet, Raj. People will be back next week. All the juniors come in early. I bet you all the really big guns aren't even back in the office. Listen, if I had just sprung $30 million for a new beach house, I would not rush back, right, on Monday. You know how you and I on Sunday nights were rushing back from wherever? Like, we're the, we're the proletariat, right? These guys helicopter in this weekend, right? It's like your brother, right? That crowd that your brother hangs out with, you know? What are they eating? Watermelon at Wimbledon? What is the fruit they eat at Wimbledon? Watermelon or mangoes or some crap, right? They're all doing that. They're just still enjoying their summer holiday, right? Strawberries, that's it. I always forget. I know it's some kind of fruity thing they do there, right? Okay. Raj's brother is a muckety muck. Raj is just a regular guy. What is that we were at? At what point do we target 63.06? In stages. Hey, Chicken, how's your holiday? Good to see you, brother. Poison on the strawberries. Oh, that sounds like an episode of Columbo. Yeah, so all the big muckety mucks will be back next week. You know. Let's see how we're slowly creeping higher. And look at that, the point of control moved higher too. It's because all the shorts are starting to cover. right? We're going to open on a gap if this nonsense continues, right? So chicken, what we're doing is we'll use the levels. So 6306 is a big level for me. The next level up is just under 6300, and I would use the levels on this 1 minute for now. This is what I was afraid of yesterday. Monday was Monday was encouraging. I thought we'd get some liquidation. We have gaps underneath us to fill, right? No such luck yet. On the daily, when you see those lows getting higher, where you trendline guys do this, when the lows start getting higher, it means the bids are following the offer up, right? The sellers see that there are buyers, and they start taking advantage and raising price. So the bids start to follow the offers, right? And that results in higher lows. It's very hard to short those markets, right? Shorting the backfill from, I don't know, 89 down to 85, that's okay, right? Hit and run shorting. But position shorting and being early, really, that's like going to the dentist and getting a root canal with no freezing. It's just painful, right? And everybody gets stuck. A lot of people get trapped shorting. And then look, it just starts creeping and creeping. It's like a meat grinder. It's literally a meat grinder for the shorts. It gets ugly quick. There's the open. So we're going to open on a gap. Let's see if the gap fills, okay? Oh, there we go. Now, if you're a gun to your head short, your stop is at 97.5, right? If you're selling this thing, don't waste a lot of money on a stop, right? We have a seller at the top of these two candles, and if the market offers above where those sellers were, then you know you're in trouble, right? If you're unsure what to do, you don't have to trade off the open. Let the market open and lay down some structure that you can follow, right? You don't have to trade the first 30 seconds, right? Let's see. Now we're going to run that. And then come back down under the overnight high. I don't see a short yet. I'm long a little bit at the overnight high. And I sold one at 98.5. And I'm offered at 99 on the other one. Just getting out of them here. Just a little scalp. I'm front running 6,300. Right. I am not seeing any kind of short activity yet. Next stop is 6306. That's that area that we're looking for. So, Chris, now if we accept over 6,300 now, you're looking for that 6.5, 6/4 level. Okay? Point of controls up here, that's all short covering. This is all forced buying, right? The short squeeze unfortunately continues. It took a day and a half to clean out the market, and now we're right back at it. You know, I never could figure out the diamond hands thing. Where they came up with that. Thanks, Jeff. I just never understood the whole diamond thing. If your hands were made out of diamonds, wouldn't it be hard to grip stuff? It's just like bull flag. How does a bull hold a flag? They've got hooves. They don't even have opposable thumbs. Makes no sense to me. All right. Velcro hands, I could see that. Gorilla glue hands, I could see that. Look at the candles, my friends. Look at the candles. You don't want to short this, right? I don't know. All right. Don't short when it's like the lows are getting higher. It's just trend up. There's no one around to sell because we flushed all the inventory. All of that inventory, like I think it was Joe Landells who was saying, where's the inventory? All of the short-term inventory is under 62.89, right? So now we've loaded up the trucks, right? We've loaded up the trucks. Now we're taking the product to market and we're going to sell it somewhere up here now, right? Still not seeing a short. Gosh. Oh, looks like, what was that summer that we had that big short squeeze? It wasn't last summer. Wasn't it the summer before or something? We had a massive short squeeze. It's hard for me to remember these things. All the years are starting to mix together into one. Was it 23? I think it was. It was not. I don't think it was last summer. I think it was the summer before. No, no. After COVID, we had another one, Raj. Everybody thought it was going to sell off in the summer, and they shorted the holy living piss out of it, and the market just took it and ran, and just greased all the shorts. Yeah, there you go, Truth. Thank you. It was 2023. It was an ugly short squeeze, and the thing was, nobody saw it coming. Right? We were telling people, be careful, be careful, and nobody saw that short squeeze coming. It was one of the best short squeezes because nobody saw it coming. Well, everything is a short squeeze now, Rolly. It's because they've set the capital markets up. They've taken the retail short out of the market. Now you have to spend outrageous borrowing fees to short stocks. They've made it very uneconomical to short. So those who do just get the holy living crap kicked out of them. Right? You know, I take it from an old time manipulator. The bet you don't even need to do a lot of buying to move a market up. All you got to do is not sell. Look at this thing. It looks so weak. It looks so slow. The volume's really light. But I wouldn't short it with your money. You know? Now, we're creeping up on that 6306. Let's see if we can get there. Remember, the all-time high was made on a holiday. Right? So a lot of traders really don't think it counts. That's why, and I kind of feel bad for saying this, I think we might run up to that 63.30 area again. Maybe not today. God, I hope not today. But we might go test that area again and see if it can do it in the regular trading hours when the markets are open. Nice work, Moran. Look at you. You're holding these positions like Niederhofer. Amazing. Beautiful. All right, a few more ticks. And we're creeping up on 6.25. That's okay. You're learning. There's 6.25. And it only took us 10 minutes to hit it. Wow. So, Chris, chicken, that happened a lot faster than I thought it would. Which is telling me that there's some people that are really quite badly short under yesterday's high. She's doing really well, Taco. Now we just got to get her onto one of those funded trader accounts. What's Leather Jacket Guy's stock doing? Let's take a quick look. Wow, look at that. 163 Nvidia. Jesus. Just barreling through the stops. Once again, please don't be short. Please, please, please don't be short. We'll backfill. Now, if you are short, your stop is 9. Right? No reason to spend more than that on a stop if you are short. It's okay to short the backfills. Just realize somewhere here at 4, you're going to see some bids Just somewhere here. Still quite light volume, huh? Another day, another gap. That's a fairly sizable gap, too. Once again, looking for 9 3/4, 10. Next upper target. The bids will be at the bottom of these candles, VS. You can see the bid is following the offer higher. There's 9 3/4. We're almost at 8 times cost basis now, which is it's a little nuts. The only sort of news we have today is Fed minutes at 2 o'clock, right? Okay. I've kind of stopped looking at the news. It's all too confusing. Now we're doing a little distribution here, right? Candles are getting small, and we're not getting that huge up movement. So the market will now distribute until more buyers come along and they can raise price. You know what? I never watch those bond auctions. A lot of people talk about them, but I have no way to how to interpret the data. So, oh Jesus, look at that. Remember I said they keep price stable, it attracts buyers. Bet you nobody was expecting a gap up today, right? Hey, how many people honestly expected a gap up today? I know I didn't. I was thinking back and forth in the overnight range, right? Like yesterday. You can lie, but they'll give you the gears for it, right? Jesus. All I could, one thing I can tell is there's some size traders caught short underneath 62.89. It's pretty obvious now as they're trying to cover. And remember what I said earlier. I said something very, very biasing. I'm surprised nobody called me to the carpet on it. Remember I said you don't want to buy it up here because it seems like it's too high? Well, that was at 62.88. We're at 63.11 now. It just goes to show you how wrong you can be, right? I'll scalp long, but I didn't want to build a position here, right? I was like, oh, it's gonna do a look above and fail of the previous day high, right? I was so biased on back and forth that I didn't commit to going long because I was like, there's no way they're gonna run it up this much this morning, right? That's how bias can really keep you. Not only can it help make you lose money, but in this case, it kept me out of a good trade, right? I'm glad you ignored me, and I'm glad you're doing that more often now, Moran. That's really good. You're developing really good skills where you're using what you see instead of what I say. Because, let's face it, as much as I would like to be, I'm not always right. I'm not always right, right? In this case, I was 100% wrong. I remember I wasn't saying short it, but I just couldn't get on board the long, like a position long, maybe a scalp long, but not a position long. And I sure as hell didn't call anyone out, right? I didn't call out any trades, right? So, unlike other trading educators, I use when I'm wrong to help teach a lesson, not only to myself, but to other people as well, right? See how easy it is to bias yourself out of making money when I should have been just putting my faith in the chart, right? It's a good lesson. She put her faith in the chart. She was just watching the levels. She was doing everything I told her to do, but did not do myself, which I think is a breakthrough moment for her as a student. I think that's great. Because I'll tell people do this, do this, do this. I didn't do it myself. She did, right? So it tells me that my discipline today wasn't that great. Her discipline today is much better than mine, right? That's good to know. Now, what's next here? Geez, we still have 10 minutes left in this half-hour period. Right? As a trading educator, as a trader, or somebody who works in this business, I have to admit when I'm wrong and when I screw up, right? And I have to admit when I'm not disciplined. And this morning I have not been disciplined. So that's something, if I, like in my trading journal, that's going to go in my journal, right? Missed opportunity because lack of discipline and being biased that the market didn't have the follow through that it has. And now we're barreling up to 16 and 3/4. I really don't want to do 16 times cost basis. I will if I have to. Start with 4. Yeah, it's gonna go to 63.30 sooner than I anticipated, eh, Aries? If it keeps going like this, a little distribution here now between 13 and 15. Yes. Were those single prints to the upside, Moran, or to the downside? Oh, to the upside. Alrighty. Ooh, 3 red candles. Oh, spoke too soon. And this price action is really, really something else. Try a little 12 and 3/4 short. Stop is 13 and a quarter. I'm going to put some bids at 11 and see if I can get hit. If I can't, I'll scratch the trade. Sliding my bid up to 11 and a quarter, 11 and a half. I'm going to end up scratching this trade. I was just test shorting it at 12 and 3/4. Gosh. Well, I'm flat. Scratched. Just testing to see if there was actually a decent seller there. Not enough, not aggressive enough. Let's see. If we can't get over 13 and a quarter, I might have scratched too early. Right. Oh, sure. A lot of the trades I test, like when I'm on with you guys, I'll do a test trade. So I'll call them out. I'll say I'm doing this. Just don't follow me into the trades if that's okay with you guys. Or if you do follow me in, just remember that I'm testing out. See, I covered too quick, right? I covered too quick. I would have gotten a fill there. So I'm not exactly, not really on the ball as I should be. That's okay. You can't always be hitting them out of the park. You're going to make some mistakes. Now, when the next candle opens up, I'm going to look to see if we can get up to 12. If we can't, we'll tap it down to like 7 on the short side. So a little out at 9 and 3/4. right? And I'm just showing you guys that I think that there's a seller at just there. Now, if that seller goes away, I scratch the trade. As we come up to that white line, if I don't see that seller engaging, right, I'm going to scratch the trade. See, out. Now I'm doing this with the micro because I'm testing the market to see how well I'm doing. Was that okay, baby? I told you that I was shorting it here and that I was going to scratch it if it got above the white line. Hope that works, right? And I was looking for lower. Same thing again. Got a little bit better trade location this time. And I'm going to go drop in a bid at 8 3/4. So I'm short 10 1/4. I got a fill at 9 on one. And on the second one at 8 3/4, I got filled. Does that work for you guys? Right, I'm shorting against the seller at 11, and I was covering here. Okay, and I'm just scalping short. The first two I screwed up. The third one worked. Now, those aren't A plus trade setups. Those are just scalps, and they're just based on what I'm seeing. When I see sellers, I'll short just to see whether I'm to confirm what I'm seeing. The next period's going to open in 3 seconds. Some fresh buying. I'm still looking for some correction lower, right? Now, if we get over 63.13, 13 1/4, there's a strong likelihood we'll go and run that A high. Great observation, Hank. Nicely done. Let's see. When the next 1 minute candle opens, and I might miss this, I might be late. I want to see if we can get back over this 12 3/4. If we can't, I might hit it again. I was actually just thinking about that, Michael. If we go 16, sorry, I'm short. So I actually did get off one contract at 11 and 3/4. Okay. And I didn't have a buy order underneath 11, which I should. I got a 10.5 bid. I'm short 11 and 3/4, covered at 10.5. And the reason I took that short, I told you guys I'm looking to see if we can't get over these levels to short it. And then I know that there's some buying down here. That's why I'll put my bids there. I'm not trying to make a lot of money off these trades. I'm just trying to see where the sellers are going to come in. Now, if we can't get back over 11, same thing, right? And yes, I would consider redrawing my zones if we get into 16, 32 times balance, right? Right? Just watching this candle. I'll hit the 10s if they allow me to. Okay. 8 3/4 bid. Come on, hit me. Yeah, covered at 8 3/4. Right, so I hit the 10s, right? 63.10, 8 3/4 bid. Covered a little too early. That's okay, right? So what I'm doing is I'm getting myself. I'm trying to tune into this price action, right? And I'm not using anything fancy. I'm just finding a seller and selling next to them. When they stop selling, I cover. And that's how I've been trained how to short. You don't want to short if there's no seller. And you'll notice there's a couple of times that I did it where I screwed up. And I either covered too early, scratched too early, wasn't comfortable in the trade. Just admit you're wrong and keep going, right? And try and take the information you get from being wrong and use it to help you in your next trades. Right? It's never the same thing twice. It's always changing. And we as retail traders have to be a little easy on ourselves. Okay, that didn't work, right? 10 to 7 is beautiful there. Nicely done. Or 7.5. Well, how I learn is, Michael, was I too early? Did I scratch the trade too soon? Was I trading? Was I actually zoning into the chart or trying to impose my will on the chart? That's how I analyze my trades, right? Am I over trading? Or am I not taking the trades when they're obvious, right? What's my discipline like? Am I judging the order flow properly, right? Am I seeing things that aren't happening? Does that make sense? That's how I analyze my trades. So if I was short at 10 and I didn't have a bid in at 8 3/4, right? And the market went down and then ripped all the way back up, that's lack of discipline. And I would write that down. Does that help? So that's the information I'm using. And this is what we talk about in the room all day. We talk about how you analyze your trades, right? Not my emotional decision making, my business decision making. You're close. You just got to zig where you zagged. I'm evaluating my business decision making with what the market's telling me. And I'm constantly doing that. So I'm always running diagnostics in my head to see whether or not I'm in tune with the market. I'll do that using test trades before I take some size or put on a position, if that helps. I think if we get under 6 1/4, we could be looking for a nice little inventory adjustment lower, maybe down to 2 3/4, right? So if you're short the eights, exactly, just exactly, like a business person would follow his business plan or model and check if he's following, if the projects are on track. Oh, hey, Creel, I think I think we could withstand a lot of selling, and it would be healthy. You know, the liquidation that we had in April was horrendous, wasn't it? But believe it or not, it was the healthiest thing that happened to the market. Because look, we're at all-time highs. Now, isn't that something crazy? A healthy liquidation would be a gap fill. A really healthy liquidation would be to go down to yesterday's low. Now, that's just my opinion, right? No, to the gap from this morning, right? Sorry, I want to short 9 3/4, 10. But this candle is giving me anxiety. So I'm going to wait for the next one to open. If you want to learn how to read order flow, come to our room for a month. It's less than 50 cents a day. I don't know what the Robins World Cup is. But you know what order flow is, Jose? It's just a fancy ass way of saying customers. And can I tell you a little secret? Everybody is an order flow trader. You can't not be. Order flow is a marketing term. Don't worry about the buyers. The buyers are suckers. The sellers are the smart money. The sellers make the market according to how many customers are in. Now, I've never heard of it, man. Man, my job is to sell you 100 million shares of stock. So I don't care about trading competitions and all that stuff. I mean, that's great. I have nothing against it. But in my world, there's no competition. If you're my client and you tell me to sell 5 million shares of stock during the day and I get you crappy fills, I'm fired. You see, there's no competition. You either do a good job or your next job is sweeping the street. You know what I mean? I don't come from a world where there's competition. There's competition amongst traders to get clients. Does that make sense? No. All you need to know if buyers are coming in. How you know is because the sellers will start to raise price, like now. And this is why I didn't want to short that 9 3/4 10. Right? Where's the link to order flow? You're looking at it, my friend. This is order flow right here. There's the link. All you have to do is pay attention. And don't fall for marketing. Order flow is just a marketing term. We are all order flow traders. You're all trading order flow. That's why they have order flow software, so they can sell you stuff. Right? The sellers control the market. The sellers are the ones who have 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 ES contracts. And they will try and sell those at the highest prices they possibly can to make a profit. Because remember, folks, it's called a market. Right? It's not called the stock hot tub. It's not called the futures slip and slide. Right? It's the futures market. What is the purpose of a market? The purpose of a market is to distribute goods. Order flow, yes, is tape reading. But a 1-minute candle chart, the chart is taking the tape and putting it in a graphical format. See, you guys, unfortunately, you guys are out there trolling the internet, right? And you know when you go fishing, you either pull up a fish, but sometimes you pull up a boot. Yes, you thought order flow meant reading the DOM and heat maps, which means that you've been very successfully programmed. Right? You're drinking the Kool-Aid. Right? They got you. They have convinced you that you need to read the DOM and heat maps and geological surveys and all that crap. Right? I'll tell you something, Jose. No trader, unless he's on a 3-day Coke binge, is going to show his intentions on a DOM. You'd have to be insane to do it. You never show your intentions in an order book. I'll tell you more off a 1-minute candle chart with a straight line than all that crap. That crap only just started to exist in the last 10 years. It's all marketing to get more money out of you guys. And you're not going to make any more money. Titanics, icebergs, milkshakes, all that crap is all marketing. Right? It's all marketing, man. And all you do when I talk to you is you keep spouting marketing. Iceberg, milkshake, root beer float, DOMs, maps, whips, chips. Right? It's all BS. Watch the chart. It'll tell you where the sellers are. If the sellers are lowering price, it means they're running out of buyers. If the sellers are raising price, it means buyers, suckers are coming in. Right? I've been doing this 33 years. I've taken 200 companies public, and I've sold you guys stock and you didn't even know I existed. Right? Going into a market that's traded $100 million worth of paper and pulling $20, $30 million out of it. That's trading. And it's not something you announce to people because your clients have their money offshore and they're billionaires and they don't want to show their wealth. So all the stuff that you guys see is all the icing on the cake, right? Don't get sucked into all that. Learn how to be a real trader, right? A real trader comes into a market, takes 5, 10, $20 million out of it, and you don't even know he was there. That, my friends, is trading. Those are the lessons that I'll teach you if you come into the room. I'll teach you practical information without trying to sell you any kind of bogus software so you can actually learn how to trade and make a living. Right? It's simple. Don't fall for all this crap. Heat maps and bookmarks and skid marks and nose prints and all this crap. Unfinished business and, imbalance and Prozac and all that crap. Don't fall for it. This is a simple business. You don't need to overcomplicate it. Right? It's a simple business. Buy a bunch of cheap crap, sell it at a higher price. When they get sick of buying it, lower the price. That's what's going on now. See? The tops of the candles tell you where the sellers are initiating. Right? As long as the tops of the candles keep moving lower, that means you've got price competition. If the tops of the candles start going higher, it means the sellers see buyers and they're raising price. Do you understand that, Jose? Right? You don't have to worry about the Titanic or icebergs or any of that crap. Right? Sorry. If you are short, you put some bids down here. We have market makers in our room. Right? They never show their size. Right? Come back and try it out for a month. When you come into the room, DM me. I'll help walk you through it. Right? Everything we teach is very simple. Right? If you're going to trade and make money, you need the business reason for the trade to work. If there's no business reason for the trade, there's no reason to take the trade. So if you're shorting here, the business reason is that you see sellers competing. If you're going long here, you see that sellers are raising price. See, it's very simple. It's not easy, but the business is simple. It's a market. Markets have existed for thousands of years. Just lately, they've gotten more efficient, like every other business, due to automation. Right? You go to Amazon, they've got robots that move stuff around, right? Instead of human beings, right? Automation just makes the existing business more efficient. Yeah, see, like in the room now, our guy Pollux, he's a crypto market maker. He never shows his true size, right? It'd be insane. There's companies that sell you software with specialized order flow tools, and it's like $1,000, $2,000. But you're not going to become profitable if you buy it. I know it's very unpopular of me to say. We'll teach you practically a practical way how to make money. It's that simple. Where is leather jacket guy's stock? Let's take a quick look. What did it hit today? 164.42. Not bad on the highs. Good stuff. Nice work, Raj. Done for the week. Take your money and run. Beautiful. Good stuff. And I welcome anybody who joins the room. Please reach out. If you're having trouble, I'll work with you and try and get you on track. I'm always in the room. My girlfriend is away working out of town for the next 4 months, so I've got lots of time. Today's low is 62.93 and 3/4 for RTH, Aries. We're a long ways away from the overnight high, and we're a heck of a long ways away from the gap fill. So we're still distributing. And I'd like to see us come under 6.25 and get some more liquidation, right? And like we were talking about earlier, we want some more liquidation to grease the lower wheels. See how sticky it's getting here? But at least it started to sell off when we hit the 12s and the 13s. Can't ask for much these days on the sell side. Now I think if we can take out 63.05, I think all the inventory above it will start. If we can take out 63.05, it'll be like a piñata, and all this candy will fall out. Let's see if that works. For a long setup right now, Michael, I don't see one. Whew. I would wait for an edge. You know, a look below and fail of 62.88. Or maybe the overnight high. The overnight high is the first sort of rational place. This is starting to become kind of a little too choppy, right? For my liking. There's no overhang. That's the problem, Raj. All the overhang was from the holiday long weekend, and that's already been flushed into the bids. So there's really, the sellers can be very picky up here, right? See how they're not selling aggressively? Maybe a scalp long, Michael, but just be careful. Just be careful. What is overhang? Sorry. Overhang is a shortened version. In the old days, they used to say overhanging supply. So if the price is here now, right, everything above that level is overhanging supply. Which creates resistance. So once a market gets to new highs, right? You guys worry about the supply. We'll take care of the demand. Exactly, James. Right? We'll create that demand. Once the market gets above a new high, there's nothing up here to sell into it. Hey, Jose Miami. I like Miami. See, watch. Let's see if we can take out that 5 and we can get some selling. Come on now. Sell it like you mean it. There we go. That's what I was waiting for. I didn't take the... I wanted to take a 5-6 short, but I didn't do it. Because I was flapping my gums. Nice, Lear. Nice. Now you're looking for that overnight high as your target. Remember I said that's like a piñata. You break that level and all this candy starts to fall out. And that's exactly what's happening now. It took, golly, it almost took 2 hours or an hour and a half for this thing to crack. Unbelievable. They're going to front run the overnight high right now. Some shorts are going to come in and cover. This is short covering. Yeah, that's how longs get trapped. Everybody gets trapped, right? Shorts get trapped, longs get trapped. That's how you move price. It's always good to use leverage, right? It's always good to use leverage. So you don't have to spend as much money. Right? If somebody's trapped, use them to move the market. Right? Well, that's pretty much it for today, folks. Well, that went quick. I want to thank you for being with me this morning. I'm JJ. This is the tradingsyndicate.org. Please come visit us. And I promise you, I will teach you more in a month than you'll learn in 10 years anywhere else. And that's information you can use. Right? And if you're having trouble, DM me. I'm around. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Trade safe. Be smart out there, okay? And as always, do not take candy from strange market makers. Have a wonderful morning, everyone. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.